We got a Rush Pinball Machine here. It's a pro version. I found this better than I expected to, really. I guess it's the short version. You can probably stop watching now if you want. I thought it was going to be an absolute pig of a game, but it's been much better than I thought. It's not without its faults, I have to say, that at this point. And to be honest, if I'm perfectly honest, it arrived at the same time as Godzilla, which is Godzilla is a level above this as well. So I've had to really, at times, force myself to play this, particularly as sometimes this game can be a little bit cruel. It's got an orbit which goes from right to left. It's fine if it hits the pop bumpers. If it doesn't, it'll go straight down the middle. I've tried it on, honestly, anywhere from sort of 6.5 degree pitch to 7.2. I've balanced it in every way that I can. The ball just goes straight down the middle. It's absolutely infuriating. I would say that it happened. My son played 3 or 4 games in it, straight down the middle every time. Doesn't want to play it anymore. And I think that's one of the problems that you have with a game when it has a little glitch. Star Wars would be the same. Star Wars, when my son played Star Wars, he loved Star Wars, he wanted to enjoy Star Wars, and his problems with Star Wars are not the same, and neither were mine, as everybody else seems to have with Star Wars, which is it's not well put together, the theme is not great. The biggest problem I find with Star Wars is off the plunge. I've played games on Star Wars, I've not been able to hit the ball. Where you'll plunge, it'll go straight down the middle, it'll auto plunge it straight down the middle. I've had that done on several occasions, do it on all 3 balls. And when my son's played that, he's just walked away from it. So I can't play this game, I don't get to hit a ball. And that's where I just think sometimes you get a little bit of poor geometry, poor design on the game. I think this shot has that. But it's only one shot. Now I know it's going to happen. I'll start to nudge the machine and rock the machine as it starts to travel around the orbit. So you can try and mitigate that happening. That's the only bad point about the game, it has to be said. I quite like the 2 scoops on it, which other people don't like. I think the use of the upper flipper's brilliant. Really good. So many shots off there. It's one of the... I've got to say, I think it's one of the shots that's easiest to hit off an upper flipper, and I'm talking about the ramp that's sort of reminiscent to a warp ramp on Star Trek. I've never played the LE, I've never played the Premium, but this seems enough on the Pro. The Pro seems a good choice on this game. Same can't be said for Led Zeppelin. Anytime I played Led Zeppelin, I've played the Pro. It's so stripped down. You really need the extra features that are... The old fans kicking off there, as you can probably hear in the background. You really need the extra... Well, it's the spinner that raises from the playfield on Led Zeppelin, which is something you really want to have an integral part of the game. You really feel you're missing it, don't you, on that? With this, I think the Pro is absolutely great. The Pro's fine on here. The time machine shot, which is, I guess, is like the ring shot in Lord of the Rings, quite tight actually, quite a tricky shot to hit. I don't really know what's going on. I've learnt more as I've had it. I think if you had this game for a long time, you'd learn it. I've downloaded the rule sheet and tried to read it. But this is my problem with music-themed games. It's, what am I trying to do? Am I putting the bands together? Am I collecting instruments? What's the story of the game? Why is there a time machine in there at all? It's just not got that easy story that allows the shots, easy for understanding attack from Mars, that I've got to destroy a saucer and therefore I know which shots to hit. Understanding Godzilla, that I've got to sort of destroy a city, I've got to smash up a certain amount of tanks, destroy a bridge, defeat a bad guy and then move on. I get it, and because I understand the story, I know what shots the game wants me to perform next. On this, I don't really know what the story is. Some of them have discs, some of them have records, well, discs, records, same thing, some instruments, some band members. I don't understand what it wants me to do. I don't understand. But you advance the clock on this game. I guess it's been a bit like Theatre Magic in that sense, really. So the theme is somewhat confusing, I've got to say. So it doesn't make it intuitive. What is intuitive are the shots. They're great. I've found myself on this game just hitting shots just because I enjoy hitting the shots without particularly charting what my progress through the game is. The combos on here are very good. It's got numbers on them, 1, 2, 3. Really like that. I think that's a really, really neat feature. There's some good call-outs on it as well, and that really helps. I think particularly if you don't understand the game, having some call-outs where it tells you what shot to hit and what to do is absolutely excellent. I quite like the music. I felt this had a lukewarm reception. I'm being nice then when Stern announced that they were going to release this game. I quite liked it. I found the tunes, I wasn't aware of the band. They're not a band where, as I've mentioned before, if you're just generally into music, you don't know the band, you won't have heard of them. Unlike Guns N' Roses, you don't have to be a Guns N' Roses fan to have heard of a Guns N' Roses track. It permeates pop culture. It permeates the general population's consciousness. This is not that. If you're not into Rush, you're probably going to struggle to know. But the songs are catchy. There's really good songs on here, actually. I found myself walking away from the machine and humming the songs. So it ain't half as bad as I thought it would be. It has to be said. I think it's a challenging game. The ramps they feel good. You know, there's really good feedback on the ramps. They feel satisfying shots to hit. I think if I was to say anything about this game, really, I really like it. Look, we'll do a little bit of gameplay now, show you a little bit, take you a little tour around the playfield maybe, do a bit of gameplay. You possibly already played this. Let's be honest, if you've got a choice of this or Godzilla, you're going to buy the Godzilla. You really are. But this is far from the worst Stern made in recent years. You know, far from it. I think this is a pretty damn good game. Given a longer time, I'd certainly have enjoyed this game a lot more. Unfortunately, it's not got much of a look in at the moment because Godzilla's here, because, you know, Batman's here, and Attack from Mars, I've mentioned, Monster Bash. This is not something I walk up to and think, oh, I'm going to switch this on, I'm going to play a game of Rush. I think, realistically, if you only had a couple of pins and this was one of them, you'd really learn it, you'd get to love the game, you'd get to enjoy it, and really get to explore the theme and the story and the modes, particularly as things like the action button don't come into play until I've had a little bit later in the game. It's flashing throughout it. Find yourself hitting the action button and not an awful lot's happening. So yeah, this will really reward you if you learn the modes on this. The fact of the matter is, just if there are other better games to play, if truth be known. But saying that, if you get a chance to play it. If you get a chance to have one, and you're going to get to play it and really explore it, I think you'd probably find this to be quite a rewarding pinball machine. Right, just a little walk around the game itself now. There's a cabinet. I think it looks pretty cool. When I had a lot of stick, but I quite like it, to be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with a look at this machine at all. Let's get to the thing that is wrong with this machine, and it's not just this one's guilty of it. Okay, I'm going to try and tell you, bearing in mind it's been here 2 or 3 weeks, what I understand to be the theme of the game. You've got to advance that time machine by 100 years. Why? I don't understand why. Anyway, I don't understand what it's got to do with a band. So I guess it's part to do with, I don't know, an album or a story or a song or something that's come up in I don't know, the history of Rush or something. I just don't understand. I take it they're not actual time travellers. Here's where it becomes a little bit more tenuous. You have to visit or collect 6 planets. I'm not sure exactly what. And you activate those planets by collecting records. You can see, they're pretty neat. There's nothing to do with the shots. I love the shots. I don't understand why I'm collecting records to get a planet. I don't know why I'm getting a planet. I'm not sure what a time machine's got to do with a planet. But that starts modes. The modes are pretty cool, by the way. And you'll basically, once you've collected the records, it will prompt you to hit the time machine shot, which is this one here. And then it starts the mode. I just think the story could have been a bit better, really. I would almost have preferred it if they'd have kept it to this here. It's like you've got a bass guitar and electric guitar, drumsticks. You know, fine, you know, collect instruments and put a band together. I mean, it's not the greatest story. It's not the epic of Gilgamesh, is it? Let's be fair. But at least it's something I would understand. So I think it probably helps if you are a Rush fan, if you understand why there's a time machine, why there's planets, why you're doing all of this stuff. I totally understand why I'd collect records in a band-themed machine. The rest, I'm not quite so sure, if truth be known. Anyway, there we go. I think it's probably just best to have a little look at the game itself. Is the insider connected? I would lose that in a heartbeat, and I wouldn't, honestly, wouldn't even miss it. That's the shot that's fraught with danger, straight down the middle. Goes straight down there through the pops. I'll tell you what, though, this shot is fantastic. Love that shot. the loop up the ramp. The one just inside on there, the combos, I think they're brilliant. This is a neat little shot on there. In fact, there's a lot of shots to be hit off this flipper, but there's a lot of shots to be hit from all round the game. I think the shots are amazing on here, actually. I really do. I think it's just, I think the theme lets it down, and not for the reasons that I thought. Not because I don't like the music. I just find it hard to understand what it wants me to do. In a way that I just don't, I sort of get it on a lot of other games, really. But I'll tell you what, if you're a fan of the band, you'd probably know the answer to all these questions. You probably know why there's a kid kicking something to a wall of dice, an owl landing on a star, and a time machine on a drum. And all of these things, you'd probably understand. There's some floating brains. You'd understand. I'll tell you what, look at the build quality on that telly. Do you see? Look at that. That's no good, is it? The bolt's coming out. You'd probably understand all of this stuff. Why there's time machines, why they're planets. And as long as you can play pinball, you'd probably be flying on this. I reckon good players probably really like this machine. Unfortunately, I'm not a really good player. But it's a good game. It is a good game. Right, quick bit of gameplay. I must be brutally honest, I am terrible at this game. I don't really understand what I'm meant to be hitting. It's got that brutal shot that keeps killing me on it. So don't expect anything. Just hopefully, if you've not seen the shots before, this might give you an idea of what it has to offer. It can select your song at the start. That's a good song, this one. Yeah, why not? What's the other one? Tom Sawyer is called. Really good song, actually. I'm just hitting the flipper buttons there. There you go. Let's go with that one. Good song. Little soft plunge. Couldn't get the skill shot there. The two red shots were flashing, as you may have seen. You definitely want to do the soft plunge, because you do the full plunge, it goes through there, and that will happen. That's exactly what I'm saying about the straight down the middle. Great example of it. And, you know, I have tried all the different settings on here to try and to pitch the machine so it doesn't go straight down the middle. The only thing that has taken longer than doing that is actually trying to set up insider connected. But, you know, at the end of the day, you find yourself trying so long to set these things up that you end up not playing pinball. So I must have put a good hour into trying setting this table up so it doesn't go straight down the middle, but it goes straight down the middle. And actually, by the way, this is exactly my frustration with Stranger Things. I've still not put the video out yet because it's an absolute mess, but Stranger Things, I find, will kick the ball straight down the middle after shots you're meant to be hitting. Oh, for goodness sake, it's like Star Wars, as I say. It's a real shame, because I mean, that shot there, I love it. There's some great shots on here. Really fast, that.
Cash out the radio jackpot 5 more times, and you'll hit number 1. Cash out the radio jackpot 4 more times, and you'll hit number 1.
It's telling me cash out the radio jackpot. I don't actually know what that is. It wants me to do something 4 more times, but I'm not sure what it actually is. Be nice. Be nice. Oh, wow. Oh, you dipstick. That's my fault. Yeah, I like it. I love the shots, but ultimately, it just doesn't. It doesn't capture me. It doesn't capture me, this game, if I'm honest. I think there's two things. I think that shot there, I'm always worried about hitting that shot. I'll play one more game. And also the lack of understanding of what I've got to do. It's not, doesn't draw me back in for a second game like so many of the other games do. You know, I struggle to, what you do with this game, I have to be said, if you have a massive collection, I don't know. I mean, I've got 5 or 6 pins in here, and this is the last game I would go to. But I've got to say, the shots are so good. If I only had one machine, I'd be sort of forced to learn it, and this was it. And I bet it'd be a very, very good game. And I'm not doing it justice. I'm not playing well at the moment at all. Just got to stop hitting that orbit shot. Lucky it hit the pops in. Well, damn it.
I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself.
That's one.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh, for goodness sake. Do you know what? I'm not even going to... I was going to say I was going to start again. I'm not going to even make you suffer watching me play any more of this. If you got to the end of this video, I'll tell you what, you've done really, really, really well.